wanna keep on. I wanna keep on. I wanna keep on. The lesser of two evils. The Republicans, the Democrats. I'm for neither one of them. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe, like, and share the video. I don't want to be too long on this. The pictures, the memes, the recordings says it all. I'm going to say a little bit in between everything. Try not to make the video too long, but hope you enjoy it. I enjoy doing this, making my videos. I just need more traction. Need to get more traction. This is pretty much my second video on politics. Did a one a couple of weeks ago about Donald Trump and Joe Biden. This right here, I'm going to add a few more people into it. The lesser of two evils. Who's more evil? I don't know. But anyway, I just want to say this, and I'm going to say it again before the video is over. I might, just in case I forget, I just want to say this. I'm going to let my friend know, let her know that I'm not voting for Trump. I'm not a Trump supporter. I just had to put that out there. No, I never liked Trump, and I said it in my other video. I never liked Trump. Go check the other video out. I'm not a Trump supporter. I would never vote for Trump. Joe Biden, he picked Kamala Harris. I had to get the name right. Kamala. Not Kamala, not Kamala, but Kamala. So I can remember it by, try to be calm. Try to be calm when I talk about her. Kamala. Okay. I got a lot to say about her. Not too much about Joe Biden. I said a little bit about him in my other video. But I'm going to get on her. Like I said about Mike Pence. Mike Pence, not too much to say about him. So I'm going to skip past him, but I'm just saying this about him. When Donald Trump was facing impeachment, a couple of people that I know told me, if Donald Trump gets impeached, Mike Pence is going to be just as worse. But I never knew what that really meant. I never heard anything bad about Mike Pence. Never. And I ain't want to do any digging around just to try to find out what the hell he done. But we're going to skip past Mike Pence. Okay. That's the Republican. Donald Trump. Let's talk about him. So many. So many. Check this out. The lesser of two evils. The Republicans, the Democrats. Donald Trump and Mike Pence, or Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. The elephant or the donkey? always voted for the donkey. If I vote for the donkey this time, might well kick me in the ass. Because I want my vote back. The lesser of two evils. The red, the blue. Trump, Mike Pence, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. I don't know what to do. This has to be the worst election. 2020 has to be the worst election. I've never experienced this before. But I always went blue. Democrats. I always voted for the Democrats. But you know, now that I finally woke up, what has the Democrats ever done for us? And I say us as people of color, black folks, minorities. So maybe some people see things, you know, you have your own opinion, you know, some people love Trump, love him to death, whether you're black, white, Hispanic, Latino, whatever. Some people hate Trump and willing to vote for almost anybody to get him out of office. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to vote on this side because this has been the worst ever, in my opinion. Joe Biden, I didn't care for him anyway. But when he got Kamala Harris, that made my decision easier. Because it made it worse for him. Now I put Donald Trump, Kamala Harris, even though she's the VP pick. In my opinion, the lesser of two evils. Joe Biden, I don't like him anyway. No, I don't like him. But that made it worse. So I'm going to do another video maybe after the election. And finish where I left off at. I don't think I'm going to vote. No. But I know one thing, and I want to let my friend know this. Gotta let her know. Because she said, and I told her how I felt about Joe Biden. She said, I'd rather for you not to vote. But I'd rather not vote. And I just want to let her know, I would not vote for Trump, no matter what. I'm not a Trump supporter, and I won't vote for Trump. But I'm going to say this. Anybody vote for Trump? Good luck. You know, I don't want to say anything negative to any Trump supporters. I just not going to be voting for him. So, that being said, as far as Joe Biden, I don't want to talk too much about him. I don't like him, and he's not taking our guns, for one thing. But that's not the only reason I don't like him. But it's a few things about him that I really don't care for, but his VP pick, nah. I know who I wanted to be for vice president. Even the president.
You can have all the technology in the world. I'm a professional in technology. But if you don't have a steel barrier or a wall of some kind, strong, powerful, you're going to have human trafficking, you're going to have drugs pouring across the border, you're going to have MS-13 and the gangs coming in, and we've done record apprehensions. We're doing a great job, but we need help. If we have the wall, we can have far fewer people working in terms of border security and doing an even better job. So if we had the wall, we could have a tremendous saving. I really believe the steel barrier or wall would pay for itself every 3 or 4 months, and maybe even better than that in terms of overall. So that's it. Just a couple of things, because I know the fake news likes to say it. When during the campaign, I would say Mexico's going to pay for it. Obviously, I never said this, and I never meant they're going to write out a check. I said they're going to pay for it. They are. They are paying for it with the incredible deal we made called the United States, Mexico, and Canada USMCA deal. It's a trade deal. It has to be approved by Congress. It probably will be, other than maybe they even hold that up because they want to have, they want to do as much harm as they can, only because of the 2020 presidential elections. Congress must fund the border wall. I will build a great wall, and I will have Mexico pay for that wall. Mark my words. The wall's going to get built, folks. Just in case anybody has any question, we need the wall. We're going to get the wall. We're going to have a wall. The wall's happening. Build that wall. Build that wall. On day one, we will begin working on an impenetrable, physical, tall, powerful, beautiful southern border wall. I'd love not to build a wall, but you need the wall. Building it? Not negotiable. We have no choice. We have to close down our government. We're building that wall.
A wall without personnel there means nothing.
Those of us that know that border are going to be with Donald Trump.
And when I need wall along the entire border, I got it.
Of course I disagreed with him because I was running against him.
The new giant wall makes no sense whatsoever.
Are you okay with $25 billion for the wall?
Whatever it takes.
Remember, we're not going to pay for that.
We are going to finance the Secure Fence Act, which is the construction of the physical barrier.
You can't get Mexico to pay for the wall. Of course you can.
Do you have any doubt that I will get them to pay for the wall?
We will build the wall as sure as you are standing there, as sure as you're standing there. 100%. 100%. 100%. Who's going to pay for the wall? Who's not going to pay for the wall? Vermont.
It now appears clear. U.S. taxpayers will have to pay for it up front. What is your plan?
That's not clear at all. So the American taxpayer will pay for the wall first.
All it is we'll be reimbursed. Mexico will be reimbursing the United States. It'll be reimbursed. It may be through reimbursement. We did discuss the wall. We didn't discuss payment of the wall. I will build the greatest wall that you've ever seen. I want a gorgeous wall. And you do a beautiful, nice precast plank with beautiful everything, just perfect.
What's it going to be made out of? What are the walls going to be made out of?
It's going to be made of hardened concrete, and it's going to be made out of rebar and steel. I'm talking about a wall. See that ceiling up there? Higher. We're thinking about building the wall as a solar wall. And we're going to have a door in the wall. If they ever get up there, they're in trouble, because there's no way to get down.
Maybe a rope.
It's not a fence, it's a wall.
Yeah, it could be some fencing. Mexico will not pay for the wall. Could we have your comment? They said yes.
The wall just got 10 feet taller.
10 feet taller.
10 feet higher.
Higher. Let's say the wall costs $4 billion. $5 billion.
The wall is going to cost 6 or 7 billion.
The wall's probably $8 billion.
It's going to cost 10 billion.
The wall's going to cost $10 billion. Maybe 12. We're putting down $25 billion for the wall.
And who's going to pay for the wall? Who's going to pay for the wall? Who's going to pay for the wall? I've never done that before. That's actually cute. I've never done it.
I declare, I'm not going to pay for that fucking wall. He should pay for it. He's got the money.
The former president of Mexico, Vicente Fox, he said today, and I'm quoting him, he said, "I'm not going to pay for that, quote, effing wall." So if you don't get an actual check from the Mexican government for $8 or $10 or $12 billion, whatever it will cost, how are you going to make them pay for the wall?
I will, and the wall just got 10 feet taller, believe me. It's got 10 feet taller. I saw him make the statement. I saw him use the word that he used. I can only tell you, if I would have used even half of that word, it would have been national scandal. This guy used a filthy, disgusting word on television, and he should be ashamed of himself, and he should apologize, okay? Number one. Number two, we have a trade deficit with Mexico of $58 billion a year, and that doesn't include all the drugs that are pouring across and destroying our country. We're going to make them pay for that wall. Now, the wall is $10 billion to $12 billion if I do it. If these guys do it, it'll end up costing $200 billion.
It's my esteemed pleasure to introduce Donald Trump.
Nobody has more respect for women than I do. Nobody.
I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
Nobody can do it like me. Nobody can do it like me. Honestly.
Nobody's stronger than me.
Nobody has better toys than I do.
There's nobody bigger or better at the military than I am.
Nobody loves the Bible more than I do. Nobody builds walls better than me. Nobody's better to people with disabilities than me. Nobody's fighting for the veterans like I'm fighting for the veterans.
There's nobody that's done so much for equality as I have.
There's nobody more pro-Israel than I am. There's nobody more conservative than me.
There is nobody that respects women more than I do. Nobody would be tougher on ISIS than Donald Trump.
There's nobody's ever had crowds like Trump has had.
There's nobody that understands the horror of nuclear better than me. Nobody even understands it but me. It's called devaluation. The sale of the uranium that nobody knows what it means. I know what it means.
Nobody knows more about trade than me.
Nobody knows the game better than I do.
Nobody's in the history of this country has ever known so much about infrastructure as Donald Trump. I know the H-1B. I know the H-2B. Nobody knows it better than me.
Nobody knows politicians better than I do.
Nobody knows more about taxes than I do. Nobody knows more about debt than I do.
Nobody knows the system better than me.
Moved on her, and I failed. I'll admit it. I did try and fuck her. She was married. I know, Nancy. No, this was... And I moved on her very heavily. In fact, I took her out furniture shopping. She wanted to get some furniture. I said, I'll show you where they have some nice furniture. I took her out furniture. I moved on her like a bitch. But I couldn't get there. And she was married. And all of a sudden, I see her. She's now got the big phony tits and everything. She's totally changed her look. I gotta use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. I don't need to wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Whatever you want. Grab them by the pussy. I can do anything. Pull the hair.
When do we beat Mexico at the border? They're laughing at us, at our stupidity. And now they're beating us economically. They are not our friend, believe me. But they're killing us economically. The U.S. has become a dumping ground for everybody else's problems. Thank you. It's true. And these are the best and the finest. When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people. But I speak to border guards, and they tell us what we're getting. And it only makes common sense. It only makes common sense. They're sending us not the right people. It's coming from more than Mexico. It's coming from all over South and Latin America, and it's coming probably from the Middle East. But we don't know, because we have no protection, and we have no competence. We don't know what's happening. And it's got to stop. And it's got to stop fast.
Donald Trump lies too much. And guess who used to lie for him too much? Her.
From the trivial to the important, those are just some of the lies that the New York Times included in its massive new list of every lie Donald Trump has told in the first 154 days of the Trump presidency. The list of Trump lies filled an entire page of the New York Times, yesterday's print edition of the New York Times. It includes only what the Times calls demonstrably false statements. The Times reports that Donald Trump publicly told a lie on 20 of his first 40 days in office, when the Times used what it called a broader standard, one that includes his many misleading statements. It found that he said something untrue every day for the first 40 days of his presidency, and on 74 out of 113 days after that. An example of what the Times called misleading was the president exaggerating military spending in the Middle East.
Mr. President, after 3.5 years, do you regret at all the lying you've done to the American people?
All the what?
All the lying, all the dishonesties.
And who has done?
You have done. Tens of thousands.
Go ahead, please. Please.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy. So, what'll I make you? Good? You're not good. You just know how to hide, how to lie. Me, I don't have that problem. Me, I always tell the truth. Even when I lie. So say good night to the bad guy. Come on. The last time you're gonna see a bad guy like this again, let me tell you. Guess what? You're not allowed on this anyway. I'm not taking that gun away at all. You need 100 rounds? No. I did not say that. I did not say that. It's a viral video like the other ones that you've done. Say it live. Well, he just clarified it. Wait. The AR-14. There's a lot of guys wanting this. I'm not worried. Here's the deal. Are you able over there? I said, are you able over there? That's right. I'm representing me. I'm a fucking. When he answered your question, you kept on. Fine, you guys have your own way to do it. Yeah, well, it's right. You're wrong.
But what else he said to you at the end to show he seemed really angry at you? And at the end he said, "I don't work for you." What prompted that?
Well, I mean, I guess technically speaking, he can say whatever he wants, but he was the vice president. He wants to be the president now. You're a candidate. You work for the American people. And if you can't understand that, then you don't deserve to be having a leg in this race.
When you are the Attorney General for the state of California. She took none of those opportunities to do anything to advance black causes, and as a matter of fact, took more time prancing around in police raid jackets and bragging about how tough she was on crime, meaning how many blacks she had locked up. She lamented that some of the illegal alien mothers have been separated from their children. We're talking maybe 1,200 people here. But she personally saw to it that 7 or 8 times as many black children were separated from some 3,000 or so black mothers who she prosecuted under a truancy thing that she started in the Bay Area. If your child, if I believe the circumstances were, if your child was truant for 4 or more occasions, you could be arrested. And there was one case involving a woman where she had actually dropped her son off at school, watched him walk into the school, and then the knucklehead looked out the window and saw her drive off, and then he ditched. Well, he'd done this 4 or so times, so she wound up spending several months in jail. She was a widow, and her children went without her for several months while she was locked up. But see, that's okay when it's us. But then we have a campaign going on, so now she's supposed to be our friend. She was not our friend when she was an assistant DA in terms of the offers she had, and has got, in light of today's view on legalizing marijuana, she was notorious for how difficult she was with black defendants in simple possession. With white ones, she gave them a whole lot of slack, but not black ones. So you looked at this situation where she made her announcement as a candidate for president, or at least for the nomination by the Democratic Party. And there were some very wide differences on the crowd estimates, but if you look at the pictures of the crowd, all are in agreement that 5 or 6% only of the crowd was black, and this was in Oakland. That's because black people in Oakland can't stand her because of the wrongs that she did over the years. She was in a position to do that kind of wrong, and she did not do anything to help. She came up with not one alternative program, not one rehabilitative program, not one program did she lend her considerable weight as district attorney general or state attorney general to when it came to doing something about turning black kids away from crime and giving them alternatives. She did none of that. She is an opportunist. She is a chameleon. And that is not a good thing.
You have a thought on this that will make you believe that taking a child's only parent out of the house will make them better or worse.
Right. It's certainly not going to help anything. Let's put it that way. That's not going to help one damn thing.
No.
You have to deal with the context. Well, okay, go ahead with your question.
And another question. While you took that woman out of her home for 6 months, what happened to her on the backside of that and those kids? Was they homeless? How did they get back on their feet? Because, the average black family is one paycheck away from being put outside.
So she didn't give a damn. She laughed about it. And it wasn't just that one woman. It was several thousand black women in the Bay Area that she had locked up. See, you want to know what the contrast is? Where are some of the worst police in the United States located? Not in the South, not in Chicago, but in California.
Oakland, California.
So she's running around with a police raid jacket on that detectives wear when they go off to serve warrants and stuff with police on the back. Those blue nylon blazers or windbreakers. What cop did she prosecute for shooting down, gunning down, beating up, or brutalizing some black citizen in the Bay Area, Oakland or Richmond, during the entirety of her career as an assistant prosecutor, as the district attorney general, or as attorney general for the state of California? Not one.
She actually blocked him from being prosecuted.
Yes, she did. Exactly.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
And they're asking us to forget all of this and say, oh, we want her. Oh, my God. You know, she's one of us because she's got a slight tan.
I'm done. I told them, when they made the statement about who she was, and I looked at her record, I said, you got to be out your mind.
I'm proud of that work. I want to bring in Congresswoman Gabbard. Congresswoman Gabbard, you took issue with Senator Harris confronting Vice President Biden at the last debate. You called it a, quote, false accusation that Joe Biden is a racist. What's your response? I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way. Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response.
As the elected Attorney General of California, I did the work of significantly reforming the criminal justice system of a state of 40 million people, which became a national model for the work that needs to be done. And I am proud of that work. And I am proud of making a decision to not just give fancy speeches or be in a legislative body and give speeches on the floor, but actually doing the work of being in the position to use the power that I had to reform a system that is badly in need of reform. That is why we created initiatives that were about reentering former offenders and getting them counseling. It is why, and because I know that criminal justice system is so broken, that I am an advocate for what we need to do to not only decriminalize, but legalize marijuana in the United States.
I want to bring Congresswoman Gabbard back in. Your response. The bottom line is, Senator Harris, when you are in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not. And worse yet, in the case of those who are on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology. Senator Harris.
My entire career, I have been personally opposed to the death penalty, and that has never changed. And I dare anybody who is in a position to make that decision, to face the people I have faced, to say, I will not seek the death penalty. That is my background. That is my work. I am proud of it. I think you can judge people by when they are under fire, and it's not about some fancy opinion on a stage, but when they're in the position to actually make a decision, what do they do? When I was in the position of having to decide whether or not to seek a death penalty on cases I prosecuted, I made a very difficult decision that was not popular to not seek the death penalty. History shows that, and I am proud of those decisions.
Senator Harris, thank you very much. Senator Bennett, a question for you.
But we wanted to know, were Gabbard's claims true?
She put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana.
Did Harris put 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations? Well, as Attorney General, she would not have personally prosecuted drug cases. That 1,500 number was reported by the Washington Free Beacon. They claim that based on numbers from the Department of Corrections, at least 1,560 people were sent to state prisons for marijuana-related offenses between 2011 and 2016. That's when Harris was the Attorney General. And did Harris laugh about her own marijuana use? Well, here's a radio interview from February of this year.
Have you ever smoked?
I have.
Okay.
And I inhale. I did inhale.
Gabbard also seemed to refer to the case of death row inmate Kevin Cooper.
She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so.
It is true that as Attorney General, Harris refused to allow advanced DNA testing that could free Cooper. He's on death row for murdering a family in 1983. Governor Gavin Newsom ordered a full DNA testing earlier this year, but we don't know the results yet, so we can't say Cooper is an innocent man. In 2018, now Senator Harris changed her mind and did endorse the DNA testing.
Now, Tulsi Gabbard also accused Kamala Harris of fighting to keep California's cash bail system in place, which is true. But since becoming a senator, Harris has also introduced legislation to end the cash bail system.
This 2020 election is a joke. Kanye West. We already know what time it is. I just want to say this about him. When he said he no longer support Donald Trump, we knew that was a joke. I knew it was a joke. And the reason was because Donald Trump hid in his bunker. Donald Trump hid in his bunker, so he no longer supports Donald Trump. Kanye West came at the tail end of this shit. Who is his vice president pick? What are his issues? What is he going to do for the black community? And I'm going to say this, because, you know, there's been a lot of pressure on, especially the Democrats, about reparations. And I'm just going to breeze through this real quick about reparations. This man, Kanye West, will never give you reparations. This is the man that said slavery was a choice. Slavery was a choice.
I want to keep on.
So, this is a joke. And I don't want to talk too much about him because of all the rappers Why him? And I know one thing special, a rapper, if a rapper was to run for president, they're going to dig into his history. His criminal record. Find out what he did when he was a teenager. Was he ever locked up? Did he ever shoot anybody? Was he ever a drug dealer? They're going to find something. Just throw some names out of there. Just saying, Jay-Z. Oh, Jay-Z was a drug dealer. That's just one thing. They're going to dig some more stuff. Ice Cube running for president. He was with NWA. Niggas with attitude. They said, F the police. Who would probably be good for a president, a rapper, or a retired rapper, former rapper, back in the day rapper? Reverend Run would be good from Run DMC. Maybe good. But we don't need no rapper. We don't need Kanye. But we already know what time it is and what he's trying to do, and Donald Trump probably in on it. Anyway, I just want to say this. I'm going to probably do another video on this after the election, which I don't think I'm going to vote. And like I said in my other video, I don't need no one pressuring me into voting because there's no one to vote for. And the Democrats, don't think they're going to do anything for us. Don't think so. You know. But anyway, just want to say thanks for checking me out. Good fella about to wrap it up. Thanks for tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, Ultimate Underground Collection, and J Goodfella 56, UUC for life. Yeah!